Hey Fibro Fam, it's Michaela and welcome to another episode of Pass the Spoon. I had a huge, very well researched video for you planned this week, but unfortunately Monday and Tuesday I had a bit of vertigo and I just did not have the ability to dedicate myself to such a big project. But that will be coming up next week, and I'm really excited about it. In the meantime, I did want to talk about vertigo, which is part of the reason why I'm in comfy clothes today. I'm going to be moving around a bit. Also, a little bit of a flare up today, so it is what it is. Anyway, so I did notice recently, past month or so, on the Facebook group that I belong to, that's kind of like a fibromyalgia support group, that a lot of people have been struggling with vertigo, and they don't really know what to do about it. So I thought I would go into a little bit of detail about what you can do, some of your options. I will say that I am not a doctor. I cannot cure anything. I cannot permanently fix anything. I can just show you what I do that seems to help. I can't say this is fortunate, but I have grown up around vertigo. My mom has vertigo. Prior to me getting fibromyalgia, I also struggled with chronic migraines, which also tend to trigger vertigo. So what it is I can't really say dizziness. It is dizziness, but it is a little bit more disorienting than that. What it really is a carnival ride that you cannot get off. Generally I tend to wake up in the morning with it, although sometimes if I'm laying down at night, when I put my head back on my pillow, I can kind of feel like a wave coming this way that makes me feel like my head is still going in the downward direction when I lay my head down, and that tells me that I'm probably going to be dealing with vertigo the next day, and that is kind of what I dealt with this week. So if you do experience vertigo, it's something you definitely should be talking to your doctor about. It can really affect your balance issues. Sometimes you can have trouble walking straight. It's something that you should really be looking into. There are several causes, including, in my case, usually it's crystals in your ear that dislodge, and they kind of disrupt the flow of the liquids and the fluids in your ear that help you maintain balance and know which way is up. So that's kind of what I deal with, and that's why this particular exercise that I'm going to show you is helpful. It is called the Epley Maneuver, and it is something that I do when I get vertigo. Usually people who get vertigo get it more one side or the other. You might not be super intuitive about it if this is your first or second time getting it. But usually mine exists almost solely on the right. It's probably because I sleep on my right side. Not entirely sure that's true, but my guess as to why it's always on the right. So what I will show you is a quick way to kind of get everything in your ears back where it's supposed to be, in your inner ears, back where it's supposed to be, and to kind of help you regain that balance and help with this disorientation. Again, if you do have a chronic vertigo problem, I would talk to your doctor. There are some very nice medications that are really helpful. I take one of them. And it's something that should be addressed. If you go to your doctor and say that you have dizziness, it's a little bit vague, but if you say I'm disoriented and I'm pretty sure I have vertigo, usually they'll be a little bit more accommodating and actually addressing something. I know that a lot of people in our community have issues getting their medical problems addressed. So just be direct and say, I think I have vertigo. Usually that helps. Anyway, on to the Epley Maneuver. This is one of a few exercises that I know that tend to help. One of them is partner assisted. Sometimes though, especially in my case, my boyfriend is gone during the day. If I wake up with vertigo, I am just laid out the entire day and it's just a waste of time until he gets home and I can do the partner assisted exercise. This one, generally you probably would want to go to a physical therapist first and have them do this on you, just because you want to be relaxed and it's a little bit easier to do it when somebody's directing you. But in a pinch, this works to do by yourself. So being very careful, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn sideways on the bed, just so that when I lay back, my head hangs off. Scooch forward so I don't go falling off the bed. And I'm going to start by turning my head to one side about 45 degrees. And then I'm going to smoothly as possible lay myself back and then let my head back about 30-ish degrees. This part, I will tell you, really sucks. It is not fun, and if you have a vertigo issue, this is really going to trigger it. You're going to feel like everything's going haywire and the room's spinning and tilting. And again, it's going to feel like a carnival ride that you just cannot get off. After about 30 to 60 seconds though, it usually chills out. So it's at that point where you can turn your head again 45 degrees but to the opposite side. You'll probably trigger a little bit more of that dizzy, tilty feeling. It's usually not too bad on the second side though, I find anyway. And then you're going to try to keep your head, this is the hard part, you're going to try to keep your head in the same position as you sit up. So what I do is I drop my legs off the side of the bed. That kind of gives me an anchor. I will grab here and try to keep my head still as I come up. And you still, when you sit up, you want to be still facing in that 45-degree angle, and then you can come back to center. And then you can try that on the other side. I do find that I have to do this a couple of times a day. I'll usually start off with kind of like a marathon of it in the morning. I'll usually do 3 sets of the maneuver that triggers the side that I don't really have the problem on, and 6 sets on the other side that I do have the problem on the right side. And then I may have to do it like a little bit later in the day and probably right before bed. In the meantime, I do recommend doing this in the morning if you wake up with vertigo, simply because after doing your Epley maneuvers, you want to keep your head kind of vertical, and you don't want it to be like tilted or tipping back. So if you're like sleeping or laying down, you can kind of like get all crunched up like this if you sleep on your side, or even if you're on your back, it's still not letting the fluid in your ears settle to where it's supposed to be. So if you do this in the morning and then you go, even if you're just going and sitting on the couch and watching TV, you can at least sit upright and keep your head upright so that it allows everything to settle back to where it's supposed to be. Again, next week we will have a much longer video. It will be a lot more in depth with a lot of detail and a lot of nerdy things to talk about. So if this is something that you find would help you, just this sort of practical type of video, let me know in the comments below. And please like and subscribe. It lets YouTube know that you find this channel helpful, and it allows me to get the message out to a lot more people who are still also looking for answers. In any case, I will see you guys next week. Be well, and I'll see you next time.